I want to talk about how to do a join in your SQL statements. The reason that you would use a join is when you want to start to get information from more than one table. This query is one that we made in the SQL Basics video. You can find it on my YouTube channel. It's just called SQL Basics. And it's coming from the one table, from the orders table. And we can see how it gives us the order ID, the customer ID, the employee ID, the order date, the shipping, and the rest of the fields. They're all coming from the orders table, or these other fields are calculated fields. So I like to start to show maybe the company name, the contact name, and the title from the customer. If we come over here, I'm going to expand the tables. Then let's take a look at the customers table. I'll right click there and I'll pick on select top 1000 rows. Here in the customers table, we have the company name, the contact name, and those kind of things. So let's see how we're going to join the two tables together on a common field. So SQL Server is a relational database, which means the tables can be joined together on a common field. And the reason that you would do that is so that you can pull data in from more than one table, basically. So let's close this script out. Let's open up a different file. Say File Open. And I'm going to go get one that's called SQL Join. Okay, so let me make it so everything is legible here. All right, now let's see what happened. First of all, notice how all of the field names now have the table name and then a period before the field name. So you can distinguish which table the fields are going to come from. Notice at the end here, I have some fields coming in from the customers table. The rest of them are from the orders table. And now let's take a look at the join. It says from orders, inner join customers on orders.customer ID equals customers.customer ID. So that's the syntax you want to pay attention to right there. It has the first table name, and then we have an inner join, and then we have the second table name, and then you tell which field that you're going to join on. In this case, it's the orders.customer ID equals the customers.customer ID. Now, it's not always the same field name. It's always nice when the two tables do have the same field name, but it's not always the case. As long as the data is the same and the data type is the same, it'll let you join those two tables together. Here, it is nice that they do have the same field name between the two tables. So when I run this, notice now we have some fields from the customers table over here. We have the company name and we have the contact name. If I wanted to include the customer's title, I would come over here and just add another field. I'll say customers dot, and then it'll show the fields from there. In this case, I'll pick on contact title. Good. So now that we have more than one table, then we want to make sure we include the table name and then the period before the field name. Now, this is going to be using something that's called an inner join. An inner join is only going to show the records that are in both tables. So it'll only show the records where the customer ID is in both the orders table and the customers table. If we notice over here, there's 216 records. Now, on the other hand, there's a few other kind of joins. There's an adder join. An adder join, there's a left adder join. And by the way, when it says left or right, it's depending on how the tables are selected here. So the orders table is the first table, so that would be the left table, and the customers is the second table. So going left to right, this would be the left table, and the customers would be the right table. So it's just because it's the way that they were written. If the customers was first, then that would be the left table. So I'm going to change this code, and I'm going to change it to say left adder join. And then everything else can stay the same. Now, the left adder join means it's going to show all of the records from the orders table, even if they don't have a matching record on the customers table. All right, so let's go ahead and run that. Notice now I have 217 records. So there must be one new record that is in the orders table that's not necessarily in the customers table. If I scroll down, we'll be able to see maybe which one that might be. Yeah, see at the bottom here. Here we have this order ID that has customer ID www. So there must not be a customer in the actual customers table that has www in there. And that's why these fields are coming up as null. The left add or join showed all of the records in the orders table, even if they're not in the customers table. Let's change that to, say, a right add or join, and that'll be the exact opposite. The right add or join means it'll show all of the records from the customers table, even if there's not a matching record in the orders table. Again, when it says right here, it's based on how they look right here. So this is the left table, and this is the right table, based on how they appear. So let's execute that. That'll be probably back to 216 records. So there's an inner join, there's a left add or join, and there's a right add or join. Let's see what happens if we bring in a third table. So I'll pick on File, Open, File, and this time I have one that's called SQL with, it should say 3 tables, but that'll be fine. Okay, now this one is only going to include the employees table as well. So take a look at this. Notice how some of the fields say orders, some of the fields say customers, and some of the fields say employees. The from line is the line that you want to look at. So we have orders, that's the first table, inner join, customers on customer ID equals customer ID. So that was the first one. Let's make sure I'm going to put this so you can read it. There's another inner join. Now we're still interjoining the orders table. Right? So that's the table, and then we interjoin that with the employees on the matching field employee ID. All right, so this should show information from all 3. Now I have the company name, the contact name. Then if I scroll over, we're going to have some fields from the employees table over there as well. And this one still has the 216 records. So you can have as many tables in your query as you wanted to. Let's take a visual look at this. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the code here, and we'll right click and we'll pick on the design query in editor. And we can see the joins. Notice how the customers table and the employees table are not joined to each other. All of the tables are not going to be joined to each other. Each table has to be joined to each other table each table has to be joined to one other table, but they're not going to be joined to all of the tables to each other. It would be impossible to do that. You would never even see that. But notice how we see the physical links, and then we see the joins down here. Now, if you're on the visual screen, you can right click on that diamond, and then you can this would be in this case, this would be a left add or join. And you can see how now it says left add or join there. This will be a right add or join. Okay. And then, well, you can make it a full add or join. See where it says full add or join down there? That means it's going to show all the records from both tables. And now it's back to being a right add or join. So you can right click on this diamond, and you can, make the choices accordingly. In this case, we'll make it we'll make it an inner join. Okay, same thing with this one over here. I'm going to go ahead and close that window, and then we're back to here. Let's see what happens if the tables are not joined to each other at all. So I'm going to highlight the code, and we're going to right click and pick on design query in editor. I'm actually going to remove the links. So I'll pick on this link and delete that, and I'll pick on this other link and we'll delete that. These are called a cross join. Cross join is just not the thing to do at all, because, well, let's see what's going to happen. Before, when we ran it, we had 216 records. The other one had 217 records. Let's see what's going to happen now. I'll pick on execute. It's still counting. It's still counting. Now there's 177,723 records. And if you notice, we have a lot of duplicates here. Before, it knew which customer record goes with which order because of that relationship. And it knew which employee went with each order because of that second relationship. Now it doesn't. The tables are not joined to each other at all. So it actually multiplied the tables together. It took the number of the records from the employees table times the number of records of the customers table times the number of records in the orders table. It's called a Cartesian product. That's why we have so many records. So I really can't think of an actual use of the cross join. I don't think it would really occur too many times. Let's go ahead and fix that. Now, we'll just go back, and in this case, I can undo what we just did there. So I'll undo that. And that now we're back to the inner joins. Now, you could have inner joins, left outer joins, and you can mix and match those as much as you wanted to. But you don't really want to have a cross join. That means there's a table that's not joined to at least one other table, and that's when we start to get the duplicates. Now that I fixed it, I'll pick on execute, and now we see we're back to our normal records of 216. So when you want to pull in more fields from other tables, you can start to join your tables together, and you can see the syntax on how you can do that. And it could be 2 tables, 3, or really as many as you wanted to, following the same format.